Hey everybody, how's it going? Articulation here, and today I'm bringing you another action figure review. This time we're looking at the Stealth Jumper Batman from the Hush comic series. So the packaging is simple and consistent with every other Mafex release. We get the big open window here where we can see Batman through, and Batman looks very high-tech, pretty cool, very awesome, very much like the comic book series. We got the Mafex logo down here, Stealth Jumper Batman, Batman Hush version, and yeah, big Batman Hush logo here. A quick promo image of the figure, on the side, Hush Comics on the top, and basically Mafex on the bottom, number 166. On the back we get all the promo shots that look awesome. So on the left here we get Batman basically doing like a jump down, glide kick, and basically a Batarang pose here. And we get only one head but three different angles of the head, which looks pretty cool. And some legal details down at the bottom here. On this side of the packaging we get a cool promo image and just a Hush logo here. On the top, another cool promo image and just a Hush logo here. And on the bottom, a whole bunch of legal details. So here we have the Stealth Jumper Batman outside of packaging, and this guy immediately looks really cool. As you can see here, this is the Hush version of the head, but there's a sculpted line going right across that makes it look a little bit more tactical. One thing I found really weird is that the cape is bunched up quite a bit, so this looks a lot puffier, and the shoulders look more, I guess, bulky, so there's basically no neck on this figure, but it doesn't ruin the aesthetics too much, which is pretty nice. The bat logo on the chest is fitted with a gold trim. That is really nice. That's a really good look. The breathing apparatus that's going into Batman's mouth looks like it's just glued on, so technically it would work like something that Batman would put in his mouth, and then this would, I guess, create oxygen for him to breathe in. There's a lot of good details, good metallic pieces put onto the suit. There are two backpack-like straps going right across his shoulder as well. And there are some pellets, yellow pellets that are stuck to his abs. So it does look like a really technical kind of suit. His belt is dulled down to a more darker kind of color. He is missing his Batman gauntlet fins, and they are replaced by basically these guys. So it's basically the straps coming across the hand or the gauntlet, and they form now the bat spikes. There's really a lot of good details in terms of sculpting as well, and it's pretty cool. The knee pads look amazing. The thigh holsters look very strapped in. The boots look really cool as well. They're not the Hush version of the boots, but they do look more tactical, or basically they look more purposeful in terms of how it's built. It's not just the plain like triangled Batman boot here. So overall this figure looks amazing. The only thing that I'm not too fond about is basically the neck missing because of the huge shoulders, but yeah, overall this looks like an amazing figure just to look at, and we'll get into more of the details in terms of accessories and articulation later on. Now, unfortunately, this is the sum total of everything that comes in the packaging for Batman. There are not any other accessories that go with this Batman. Although in the comics, this suit is only seen for maybe a panel or two. It didn't really feature in the comic that heavily, so having not that many accessories does make sense. But then paying a premium Mafex price for this figure, it does kind of feel like he could have used a little bit more accessories, especially in terms of the head. We only get one unswappable head sculpt that basically cannot be swapped out because everything else is plugged in. So yeah, it is a little bit of a letdown in terms of the accessories, but I think the sculpt kind of does make up for the lack of accessories. So this Batman does come with two different Batarangs. On the left here we got the bat ear Batarangs that resemble more of a bat, and on the right here we get a more of a boomerang kind of Batarang. So I think without the bat ears this could be called a boomerang, so that's what it looks like. They are detailed or sculpted very well, and there's not much paint to it, so they're probably just molded in this plastic, but yeah, they look pretty cool. So this Batman out of the packaging does come fitted with two fist hands, and similar to the head sculpt, this has some additional padding details, or basically sculpt lines that give it more of a padded glove kind of feel, which is really nice. All the additional hands come with sprues, and basically the next set of hands he has is the fist hands with the allowance for the cape. So basically he can use these hands to grab onto his cape, and both left and right hands are the same. There is some additional sculpted details to make the gloves look more padded. We also have more relaxed kind of hands that can also hold on to accessories as well. They have allowances for accessories as well, so that's really nice. These gloves are also padded and they're sculpted really well. Batman also comes with these Batarang hands that are sculpted with the Batarangs right in the hands. We've seen this with the regular Hush version of Batman, so nothing new here. And it doesn't look like there's too many additional details to the hands, so they're pretty much just the same as what we would have gotten with the Hush version. We also get two neutral hands that look like this. It can be used in running poses or different things like that. They do have some additional padding sculpted into the glove to make it look like there's more of a substantial glove on his hand, which looks pretty cool. And nothing other than that stands out. Finally, we've got the gesturing kind of reaching out hands that can be used to throw batarangs, or basically signify that he's throwing batarangs and using his other hand to balance himself. So there is a little bit of padding added to this sculpt as well, but other than that, they're just regular hands. So in terms of presence, something that I noticed that I don't usually with other action figures is that this action figure is very comic accurate. But the other reason I really like this action figure is because it will stand out on your shelf, because it's a premium quality kind of variant action figure. Like when we used to get as kids like different versions of Batman with anti-freeze Batman, where he's got the freeze protectant gear, or he's got the grapple cable Batman where you could pull out a big cable from his belt and then hang him somewhere, and then he can basically do all of that. This looks like a gimmicky version of that toy, and it just feels more modern and exclusive. So I think that really adds to this figure, although it might just be my take, but that's something that really stood out to me. So in terms of articulation, the Batman head can basically not do that much, because if I do move it around too much, this will basically start unplugging or start breaking. So the head is pretty much static. In terms of the shoulders can go up quite a bit. There is some additional movement allowed by the butterfly joint as well. You can go front and back, no issues there. You can go all the way around and it's not hindered. The biceps can swivel, double hinge in the elbows that can go pretty deep. Wrist cut and wrist ball peg that can allow you to rotate around and also pivot. Pretty cool. With the abs or torso articulation, there is some additional details at the back that I didn't go through earlier, apologies, but there is some harness kind of things at the back and a huge pack that stays right under his right under his back, which does hinder this movement a little bit as well. So these pellet kind of things does hinder that movement as well, so you won't get him to do too much at all. He can not do that much of left and right tilting either. With the waist, it does not rotate or does not give you any additional movement whatsoever. So the torso is pretty much very limited for this Batman. But then with all the things sculpted onto him, it does kind of make sense. With the legs, they are on a drop down hinge. So they do drop down, but they're really tight on mine, which is a really good thing because it will basically hold positions better. But he can kick up about that far front. Not that much back because of the sculpted bum. And he's got a double joint in the knee that can basically just do that much because this part is running into the thigh. So it's pretty limited in terms of articulation. So yeah, that's something to think about. The thigh cut, or basically the thigh rotation, is very, very nice, surprisingly. The legs can go, or the feet can go up that much, go down that much, pivot in all kinds of crazy ways, and also toe hinge, which is a little bit hard on mine, but can't get the toe hinge. Let's try the other one. And he can toe hinge about that much. In terms of splits, the legs can go out about that much when they are not dropped down. When they are dropped down, they can squeeze just a little bit more, and that's the total summation of what he can do. So one more thing that really stands out for this Batman is basically the shorter cape. On the Hush version of Batman, or the regular suited Hush version of Batman, the cape was pretty massive, and this one basically does not drape on the floor. It is a little bit shorter than ankle length for him. So I guess it is pretty much ankle length for him, but then it is not too massive. So that's something that I really like about this action figure as well. I wonder if we can swap this cape out for the Hush version Batman, and then it will look a little bit more, I don't know, smaller and manageable. But it is a pretty good cape, and we've got one wire here, 2, 3, 4 sets of wires basically along the different edges of the cape, and they are pretty posable. So yeah, it's a really good combination of length and articulation for the cape, which I really like. So here we have the Stealth Jumper Batman standing right next to the first version Batman Hush Batman in the blue threads. Basically, it is a very comparable figure. It is a little bit smaller, but I believe that with the reissues, the Batmans were built a little bit tighter in terms of the abs and the torso being closer together, and then the waist bit being a little bit more sunken in as well. So I think this would pretty much be as tall as the regular version of the re-release Batman. But yeah, in terms of height, they do still scale well. If you look at the neck portions now, you'll see exactly what I was talking about earlier on. The neck on the regular version of Batman is a little bit longer, or looks elongated because of the cape sitting a little bit lower. On the Stealth Jumper version of Batman, because the cape is so mushed in, it just looks a little bit bigger. Other than that, the cape also, if you look at the cape on the Batman on the right, it is huge. The colors do look very similar in terms of the material. It does feel similar as well. So the color and the materials are very similar, and if you can get it to swap, the neck would probably look a little bit shorter on the regular version of Batman as well. However, the capes do look like they would be compatible with each other. Additionally, something that I really wish Mafex did with this Batman is give him additional accessories that we already got with the previous versions of the blue Batman. But I have checked that the colors do match pretty well. So if you have the first version of Batman, the blue version, you can use the grappling hook accessory and then plug it into Batman's hand. So continuing our height comparisons, on the left we've got the Mafex Aquaman movie Black Manta action figure, and on the right we've got the amazing Yamaguchi New 52 Superman. Next up, we've got some Batman rogues from the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. On the left we've got the McFarlane Multiverse DC Rebirth Deathstroke, and on the right we've got the McFarlane Multiverse DC Talon, and they're both 7 inches, so they're pretty much towering over Batman. Speaking of towering over Batman, here we've got two McFarlane Multiverse Mega Figs. On the left, we've got the Nightfall Bane, who absolutely towers over Batman. And on the right, we've got Man-Bat, who also does tower over Batman, but because he's got more bent knees, he looks a little bit more in proportion. These two figures can definitely work with this scale of Batman, especially because they can be drawn to any proportion, any size to fit the story. So they look pretty cool, and Bane is just absolutely towering over Batman. This is really cool to see. So there we have it, guys, just a really quick look at the Stealth Jumper suit Batman from Mafex. This is a really good action figure in terms of what the action figure brings. There's a lot of good sculpting details on the action figure. The action figure is different enough from the basic version of Hush Batman, which I really like. And the posability is a little bit limited, so I guess if you're a huge posability nerd, definitely stay away from this one. But in terms of the look and the aesthetics, and basically for me personally, just that feel of having a variant figure like I did when I was a kid is really interesting, and that's the fun kind of concept that went into my head, which is really giving me more pleasure of this figure than I think it actually deserves. It's a okay figure in terms of sturdiness, joints, and articulation. It does what Mafex does. Because of the additional sculpt we have on the figure, the articulation is a little bit limited on the torso. So overall, it's not a bad figure. It's really good in terms of how it looks, and it'll definitely look really nice on the shelf. But if you want something that's definitive Batman, that really sticks to the comic book versions and to more contemporary versions of Batman that basically has the basic version of the suit, nothing more gimmicky, then this is probably not the Batman for you. But if you want something that stands out and looks a little bit gimmicky, but also looks like something that you would buy as a variant as when you were a child, then this might be the Batman for you. So there we have it, guys, another review done. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I hope that this review was helpful to you in any way at all. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more of this and more custom 3D printed action figures, subscribe to my channel. If you have something to say to me, please leave it in the comment section down below, and turn on the notifications to be notified about any new videos I put up in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you next time.